I greet my viewers with now a message of liberal politics from such an outstanding human rights advocate like me, Mr. Ahmed. Actually, I want to make a few comments on that negative development in Afghanistan, in which Obama administration decided to engage in imperialist aggression in Afghanistan, and recent fight in Afghanistan killed about 13 civilians, according to Los Angeles Times. I believe that this attempt to conduct imperialist warfare in Afghanistan by President Barack Obama, who decided to engage in willful assassination of a terrorist suspect, is a now blunder by which his administration will have only rising retail gasoline prices, which might come back to previous high marks of about $4.35 per gallon of gasoline, which was a low of 1 year ago. And I believe that further American casualties in Afghanistan will actually awaken American public to, in order to fight for peace. The fight for peace is important, very important, in order to stop this imperialist warfare in Afghanistan, which takes lives of young American warriors and actually takes life of Afghani Pashto tribesmen, and actually turns the Afghan public into more willing to accept national liberation movement or jihad, holy war, because this attempt to wage indiscriminate warfare against Pashto tribe is wrong, as it opposes American interests in order to find Al-Qaeda leaders and Al-Qaeda members in America, because most American millionaires are Colombian narco mafia, which finance and pay to Islamic charities in order to blow up WTC towers in New York City during 9/11 bombings. And mostly American millionaires are the ones who finance Al-Qaeda. There were some occasions that some American millionaires used even Islamic architecture, Islamic style architecture, in order to design their own homes. And I know that Colombian narco mafia and actually threatened to blow up buildings in America prior to September 11th bombings of WTC towers and building of Pentagon in Washington D.C. And I believe that U.S. government must actually intend to prosecute those Florida flight school instructors who prohibited those members of Mohammed Atta drug traffickers terrorist group from landing their planes when they received pilot education, commercial pilot education in that Florida flight school prior to 9/11 bombings. I also believe that this attempt to conduct imperialist warfare in Afghanistan is a failure of judgment, and I believe it opposes American interests in Afghanistan, because American agents won't be able to prosecute and obtain intelligence in Afghanistan if there is a war going on, because we won't dare show up there, because Afghan public won't cooperate with them, and so will not Pakistani public, and I believe this war must stop. Also, I want to say a few words about the domestic situation in the United States, in which its trouble assets recovery program is so far stalled that I believe, because most of its stock didn't recover fully, and I believe that the stock that I had, like MPC computer hardware stock of MPC Corporation, which declared malevolent bankruptcy last year, and actually hasn't recovered yet from that deep financial recession. And I believe that actually with cooperation, MPC actually produces, manufactures computer hardware, should actually buy, use loans from Trouble Assets Recovery Program in order to restore corporation's resources and put it back on trail with cooperation, because it's investors will left penniless and will have to sue the corporation in order to recover their damages. Recently I lost some job, my job as a security guard, and then well, actually they even falsely blamed me for violating a law, and then they refused me some unemployment benefits, denied me unemployment benefits over false pretexts of breaking the law. As its letter said, well, I just never broken a law, but the company managers, like the security company manager, Mr. Hillman, afraid me as I violated the law in his own words, but I never violated no laws. I just reported a dangerous terrorist, Mr. Miles, blue-shirted prison guard from Silma probation department, who make terrorist threats against me and against the Silma juvenile hall facility. I joined him in and said they fired me because the supervisor of North American security guard, Mr. Figaro, conspired with a drug dealer, Mr. William Abrego, in order to remove it from the account because we were afraid that I would actually did oppose drug dealing. Mr. William Abrego contacted him from the account selling cocaine to directors and to prison guards. This Los Angeles County actually should better use professional health scientists and psychologists according to anti-narcotics propaganda in order to combat substance abuse in its rehabilitation center. Instead, it uses drug addicts like cocaine addicts as counselors, like Mr. Mike Carrion, who was a confessed cocaine addict, and he never actually opposed substance abuse. Instead, he actually promoted substance abuse. Such organizations like Cocaine Anonymous is a conduit for narco-mafia, members of which are former cocaine abusers, traffickers, and manufacturers, and they will teach rehabilitation patients only further engage in acts of substance abuse. I believe only professional health psychologists and amateurs as well, but psychologists with video clips will be able to conduct anti-narcotics propaganda, will be able to help those substance abusers in order to stop substance abuse to become abstinence. I believe in abstinence, as I believe it's substance abuse is a flow of soul and vice and is illegal and should stay illegal, and I believe that if actually American was real progressive change, we should actually hire more health psychologists and have more spending on psychological research in order to combat substance abuse, especially is rehabilitation centers, which at times we don't have professional psychology. Instead, I encountered one counselor, even Lenny Halko, who was actually put a finger with white powder into his mouth. I believe he was abusing substance, and he didn't have any degrees in their office, any diplomas in their office which would prove they were doctors or anything like that. Some of them, but others of them would just like Mike Carrion. He would just make comments about his first time abusing cocaine and how he got loaded at the demise of his parent. And actually, I believe that federal government should spend more money in order to anti-narcotics propaganda.